Oh.
When we start the recording, things shift into a whole nother gear. And it's like you're riding in a Volkswagen and then we get into a Ferrari. Or a Tesla that can go from 0 to 65 in 1.7 seconds. Unbelievably fast. Uh, they are. But anyway, it's like that. And then we go from a Ferrari to an anti-gravitic spaceship. And we go from there to us, and that's the only way we get into the upper worlds. So we can't take a ship there, we can't take a body there, can't take your etheric body there, or anything like that. So everybody get comfortable. The importance, I'm going to have to mute somebody's mic there. There we go. It's going to just bleed through. I'll do it from here. Okay. Everybody try to get stable with cameras and all of that so that you're not focused on the physical plane, because you have to leave the body behind temporarily. It's always good to remind people that they leave their body every night anyway. They don't remember. I know that. It's understandable, but we do. So this is not something that's difficult for anyone. Yeah. You just put your body in the trance state called sleep like you do every night. And then when you listen to my voice, which is a telepathic way, it is a pure communication form in the omnipresent hue. There's no negative nature in it. None coming through me and none in this work and none from you. The Galactic Alliance couple that stand by you in a non-corporeal form of energy as Atmas, they keep your affairs of the present and future, engrams, implants, all that kind of stuff, subconscious mind turned off for the journey as a service. So you can get the best out of the journey and bring it back to your life on Earth and raise your IQ and raise your intelligence and wake up more of stuff that should be awaken you that you don't learn on this planet, at least not yet, because it's not available here on this planet yet, except through this work, and which is tied, intimately tied, or behind and sponsoring, as it were, disclosure on this planet. Subtle. Everything always works from behind the scenes until it finally comes out into the world. It's always good to imagine someone you love and respect, you're grateful they're in your life. It can be a person, a place, or a thing. As long as it makes you smile inside, that opens a doorway, and it's pretty automatic in the pineal gland, the center of the brain. What I mean by a doorway is it opens a channel of energy of the hue so that you, the Atma, can be conscious on this journey and bring the awareness of this journey back to your life on Earth. This is what changes consciousness. Nothing else I know of in the universe does. Nothing. You can watch videos like this and journeys like this for 100 years. Well, that's not true because these journeys aren't like other journeys. But the point is if you watch them and just watch them like entertainment, and don't go on them yourselves, you won't be benefited. You may know the way or what is needed to prepare a person for such journeys, but actually going on them takes a little courage, and that's where the change comes from. We actually go out beyond Earth's negative atmosphere, which we all know is this beautiful planet, but the water vapor in the oceans and in the air is stored with all the negative stuff that's ever been done by people to people or plants and animals in the history of this planet, and that goes back 65 million years. Since the dinosaurs, the big ones, were made extinct. So there have been civilizations here. You were part of them, every one of you. Lemuria, before that time period and other cycles of colonizations of this planet. Goes back in your own history. Of course, people on Earth don't remember that history. If they have a subconscious mind, it's not likely they do. We're not meant to have a subconscious mind. That's what people teach people on Earth in universities because that's all they know. But they don't even know where the mind is. They just assume it's brain cells firing electrons between each other, little electrical particles. But that's not where imagination comes from either, and they do not yet know that. So they can't cure anything. Where the imagination is concerned, if it's not coming from your physical body, they can suppress symptoms. But curing things? They got to know about their lives in the greater universe to do that. The reason the extraterrestrial races have advanced so much further than us, people on Earth, is one, they weren't implanted, at least all those I know. They don't have a subconscious mind. They don't live in terror and fear, nor do their societies or governments promote anything like that. And their belief systems, or well, their direct experience systems do not promote fear either. So they grow up quite differently from us. And the point I'm making is that all of you were them. Long before this life on Earth, we were made to forget everything. Everybody on this journey knows down deep somewhere, they used to be those beings that had this greater awareness and longer lifespans in the past, not the future. You're not going to evolve to be some more evolved human being 1,000,000 years from now. That's done billions of years ago. It's not the body that evolves so much, it's the Atma that wakes up to run bodies. That is what the work is about. Shantil and Tonaltil and Dantam Lamtam are couples that represent many couples in the Galactic Alliance of World Systems. It is not a federation. That came from Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek. Period. People don't know how to think of it, so they borrow it from the science fiction Star Trek movies, radioactive warp core driven spaceships and all that 2,000 years from now. Not going to happen. It's a nice idea, but nobody would allow that kind of energy to be used out in space. It's destructive. Gets out of its little warp core and everybody dies of radiation. That's pretty stupid. The beings who get around the universe use the space that appears black to people that isn't, or dark blue. They use that energy to get around because it's not molecular or bound by the laws of time and space. It's the energy that supports all that, is behind all that. They just know a lot more about how to work with it. So it reveals its secrets to them on a much more grand scale than people on Earth are allowed to know, because people on Earth would just destroy themselves with it. They're trying now to do that just with nuclear weapons that they did not earn or develop here on this planet. It was snuck into this planet illegally. German scientists did not have greater awareness. It was snuck in. And the goal of that was to wipe out 3/4 of the planet's people. They failed. But they didn't fail because of us on Earth. They failed because there were other beings involved in stopping that don't live on this planet, or we'd all be gone. When more people in government, which is happening now, begin to realize that the beings that are coming here are not, well, beings coming here now are no longer malevolent or evil or negative, and they don't retaliate when their ships are shot at, and they haven't done that in 60, 70 years, you think they get the message finally. They're starting to get that message. What the hue is, which comes from the first half of the word human, hidden in plain sight, is a vibrational frequency trigger. It simply opens a doorway through the pineal gland. It begins a process of an individual at some point in some life on some world where they cross paths with this. And then their relationship with source energy that supports the multidimensional creation begins to work differently with each one of us. We have a destiny. That destiny is to become trustworthy, conscious co-creators with the source behind all life. We are not meant to worship it or put it way up on a pedestal so far away we can never reach it. That was created by tyrant beings in the lower worlds of time and space, mostly to control masses of people. Fear makes a lot of money. On this planet, known for it, much of what business here is makes money based on fear of some kind. Governments run on it, religions run on it. So promoting fear is lucrative. It shouldn't be. And it won't be in the days to come, because that is only destructive. Common sense is not something most people on Earth have, and this includes presidents and governors and leaders of countries. When fear influences their decision making, they make wrong choices every single time. What's going on now is people making decisions not based on fear, but common sense. Not just for the good of the United States, the good of the entire planet. This is different thinking. This is the way how we're supposed to be thinking. If we want to play among the stars with fellow beings that are far more advanced than us, I'm speaking human beings as well, of course, then we have to come up in vibration considerably, even to talk with them in a balanced way. Otherwise, our compulsive negative behaviors would make us put them on a pedestal as soon as they walked into our sphere of influence. And we don't want that. Considering that they know who you are, that you were them, why would they want you putting them on a pedestal? You get my point? This is what keeps people from having direct contact with life and other worlds that they came from themselves. Misprogramming, brainwashing, worship this, put that on a pedestal, accumulate great wealth and fame and fortune, knowing in the back of their consciousness they can't take one piece of it with them when their body stops working. The only thing people take with them is the spherical energy, the Atma, and what it's awake of. How is aware? That's what we take with us, nothing else. So if we're aware of where we go on these journeys into and above the void, to other worlds that are benevolent and kind, this is the kind of consciousness we naturally take with us when we leave this body every night, and we leave it for the last time when it's time to retire it. It's as simple as that. We go where we know to go. The omnipresent power is neutral. It supports everybody. It's kind in that way. Tyrants, good guys, good, bad thoughts, emotions, this way and that way. But it has a basic purpose for existing behind all that, which we also have. We are more ancient than the planets, the moons, and the suns, billions of years old, older than the lower worlds of time and space. The Atma that runs a human body didn't get created last week, or 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 years ago by some godly being somewhere. No. We have been around since the beginning. Knowing this and waking it up is what enlightenment really is all about. When you imagine someone you love and respect, it's also creating an energy connection, a pure communication between the core of your being, the Atma, spherical, what people on Earth call soul, without knowing what it is or what it looks like, and it connects that to the omnipresent energy in space. That's what people pray to. That's divine spirit, but it doesn't call itself divine. People on Earth do that. It is an omnipresent living power, but it is not an individual being like we are. We are comprised of exactly the same energy, and we are meant to co-create new ways of doing things into that source. That's how it changes from us, collectively. And if we don't do that, it does not change. This has been the big problem with creation since the beginning. Hundreds of billions of years of no change. So what people don't know on Earth is to change anything, we have to do it from places in dimensions above the void where no negative nature exists. because then your creations have no negative influence. They're naturally for the good of all life. And then we bring that awareness back to Earth. It's pretty simple. It is that that changes the consciousness, the intelligence, the IQ, the ability of a life on Earth to comprehend the multidimensional nature of creation, because every one of you once knew it. Well, long ago. What is taking place in what is called the Hue expansion ray, which is the omnipresent living source sound behind creation, is a new kind of inner awareness in it moving through the creation. And it's designed to eventually retire evil as an experiment. There she is. She finally made it. Let me introduce you. We haven't gone, we're still on the journey. Hi, Deborah. Let's see if you can get your sound on. Let's see if I can get her to unmute. Let's make it a two-part recording.
There.
Hi, Deborah, you here?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, welcome. All right.
Thank you.
You can see some people here. Anna's got her camera up, but I wanted to introduce you all. That's Renata is in Florida. Marshall's in North Dakota. Lee's in Pennsylvania. Marge is in Australia in Victoria. Anna's in Oregon. And you are in New Zealand, Southern Island. And there's a town I think you call, what did you call the town where you are?
Queenstown.
Queenstown, right. Okay. And everybody knows. And Susan is in Florida as well.
Right.
So welcome. We've already started this recording. Started at 5, but we've been exploring the way we do this telepathically. We're on the journey before we actually leave our bodies. So you got to catch up, get relaxed, get ready to go, take a deep breath. What I was starting to share with people is the Hue.
Sorry, just.
Yeah, you still working.
Okay, I'm right now. Oops. Upside down.
Are you in a washing machine? Going on
Oh, I don't know. Technology is so bad for me. Right, I'm organized.
The technology in Earth is far too complicated, and it's too simplistically useless. It's not very advanced. So the more advanced technology gets, the more simple it is to use. That's what I'm trying to put this across to you.
Thank you, Mr. Lemriel.
You're quite welcome. So, and you're still getting used to how we do this. These people know that. But getting relaxed is important because you're going to be closing your eyes and you're going to be putting the body in the trance state called sleep, which you know how to do every night anyway. The nature of the communication, which is telepathic, is coming through the pure hue. There's no negative nature in it. It comes from outside of Earth and is brought down to you. There is a couple from the Galactic Alliance. They're about 6 feet tall, give or take. Beautifully dressed. They have a body form they show us. You're going to have to get still there, Deborah.
Sorry.
Otherwise, you won't be able to go on the journey properly.
Okay, I'm ready now.
Discipline down your old body and just discipline it down. Make it sit back and relax. Take a few deep breaths, everyone. This is a good time to do it. And when you exhale, you're putting your fears and concerns for the present and future, whatever they may be, health, anything, finance, on a shelf or in a flash drive, and just put it on a shelf. Now, this is an act that you co-create when you're given this direction. It's a telepathic link. That means not psychic. The telepathy that works with the omnipresent living force out in space, people call divine spirit. Don't realize that is space that's supporting galaxies right there. Has a visual and sound perspectives to it. The human body does not and is not designed, nor does it have a high enough genome on the DNA for most people to hear it or see it. So when we get out of our bodies, the Atma you are, the spherical being you are, can see it and hear it more definitively, more clearly than you would hear a sound or see light on Earth. The change in consciousness that has to come about for a person to switch from the light and level of vibration that's on Earth to the higher frequencies means that the Atma needs to turn on certain faculties. In the layers of the teardrops of the faculties that make up the layers through the light spectrum that surround the white core of the spherical being you are. This is the Atma. Consider it like an atom of source, the supreme being. No, let's not use that. Prime creator, source, the ancient one, whatever you want to call it. When I start recording, which we've done some time ago, this becomes telepathic. This means people like Ambassador Trellian, masters like Ramu and Satnam, and Opelum, Etin Din, hundreds of other master teachers from all over the universe that go with us on these journeys. They go with us to have a direct route with such beings, bypassing the lower planes of time and space, so they can get into the void, which, as you all know now, is not the realm of the Supreme Being at all. It is a pure conscious living energy of the hue. And that comes from above the void. In the void, it has no negative nature. We come from a place or places that have no negative nature. What this means is the Atma you are has no negative nature in it, never has. All that stuff that is called negativity is in the field of energy, the electromagnetic field, your aura that surrounds the body and that surrounds the Atma. All of you are hovering above your body right now, probably just above your head or near the ceiling. This you do and are doing constantly, even when you're running the body. If you grow up on a planet not perceiving or being taught the difference between the physical body and how you're running it and putting it aside to leave it on automatic safely in the trance state we call sleep, then you don't grow up knowing the difference and you just perceive yourself as a physical body. It's very simple. If you're born here with little or no memory intact, which you all were, it's very difficult to perceive these differences, growing up thinking only in terms of what surrounds you from all your fellow beings, very physical, material focus. That's just the bottom of the lowest planes. We don't come from here. We come from above the void. We originated from above the void. We're still there. We go on this journey and we find that out. So imagine someone you love and respect, you're grateful they're in your life, a person, place, or thing, but something that when you first visualize it, makes you smile. It can be anything, it doesn't matter, it just opens a door. Now when I send out the hue, I'm going to ask you all to do it with me just 5 times. Now this represents each of the planes up into the void and into Satnam's realm. Satnam is a being that runs what we call the Atma plane, the first major division or dimension above the void, not in the void, above it. There are many dimensions above that, all the way to Agam Purusha's realm and into the source itself, and there are several beyond that as well. The only way to know this stuff is to go there and come back again and again until it becomes common sense for you here. I'm going to read this to you because you're first time here with this stuff, Deborah. So I want to read you the description of 2 couples. And this is good for anybody to go over it again because it helps us see these people more, communicate with them more, and get their beneficial help. They can't force what they know how to do on us. We have to ask them. We have to know who they are and respect them, then they can help us. Shantiel and Tonaltiel are from beyond the Pleiades, which is one tiny area. And it's out beyond the Seven Sisters, way in the stars behind that, in one small part of the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds, which is headquartered on a planet called Zetranami 1, near the galactic core of our galaxy. Not in it. They work as personnel of the Galactic Alliance. Certain ships are stationed in the solar system around Earth now to protect us from ourselves. And so our solar system is quarantined. Not by us. Fortunately. They're doing that because they recognize that all of us on Earth, and fairly recently, came from them. What happened in 500,000 years since the last great war in our galaxy created many of the situations where people find themselves with no memory on this planet. What is underway now from Source, moving through the universe, cannot be reversed by anybody in the lower worlds of time and space. Not the Galactic Alliance. The silent mentors don't change it because they're in harmony with it. These are the beings who control the mechanics of creation and hold it in place. These two, Shantiel and Tonaltiel, are a mated pair. He's 35 to 38 years old in appearance, actually many hundreds of years old compared to an Earth person. They have the switch on the genome that determines age on the DNA, four-stranded, turned on, so they don't age. Their bodies don't age like us. It's a simple switch on the DNA. That science is not known on Earth yet. At least it's not available for the public, let's put it that way. But it's ancient, it's not new. She's about the same age. He has long blonde hair and robin's egg blue eyes, slightly larger than Earth human. She has long brunette hair and emerald green eyes, slightly larger than Earth human. They're very experienced, well-trained technicians, considered master teachers. These are the beings that will hover near you. This is not psychic. They're actual physical forms that appear human that are not made of DNA or atoms. They're a projection from the white core of the Atma we are. You have the same ability to project this form of you to them. When fear is turned off, this turns on. So when they keep anything subconscious turned off, your ability to see this grows exponentially, expands. This couple and another couple named Don Tiam and Lam Tiam are from the Galactic Alliance. The reason they are around you is to keep your fears turned off for the journey. That's it. They don't interfere in your thoughts. They don't invade your privacy. It's a kindness. They just do it because they can. I'm going to send out the hue now, and I'm taking this time to bridge things for Deborah, to kind of bridge her up to where we are. This is telepathic, which means this is not entertainment. This is not information. This is moving through your being, the white core of the spherical being hovering above your body. It's being wakened up in you. And you won't forget it after this. Send out the hue. You don't have to do it out loud, just silently. We're going to do it 5 times, and do it with me. And this is going to open a door in the pineal gland, the center of the brain, and allow more of this conscious energy of the you to flow through you on Earth. You ready to do this?
Yeah.
So keep your eyes closed, because if you keep your eyes open, you're not shutting off all the negativity that's stored in the atmosphere of Earth. It just is available to you. When you close the eyes, it shuts down that part of the brain. What you don't know usually is that it's opening up an inner vision then. So when you close your eyes, another vision opens up, and that is the sight, what people call the third eye. It is a faculties of perception that a spherical being can see in 360 degrees in any direction. And this is what we really are. Just do it with me. When I'm doing that, beings we're going to meet in a few minutes outside of Earth's atmosphere also are doing it with us. A couple has been assigned to you, and they're hovering near the ceiling. They're showing you about a, I don't know, 6-foot tall body. They're dressed in a Galactic Alliance uniform, which is a blue-gray single form-fitting fabric. On the right chest is a Galactic Alliance symbol, a silver golden galaxy with a 4-sided golden-sided pyramid with a quartz crown or top on it, and 3 blue stars, cobalt blue stars in triangular formation above the apex. More than 450 million spacefaring races in just a little under half of our galaxy are part of this organization. Human, humanoid, tall white, little grays, reptilians that were always vegetarian, part of the Galactic Alliance, and then there's the bad guys, which are no longer in our solar system, no longer on our planet. They are not in Antarctica with Nazis. That's just fear peddling to make money. Don't buy into it, because it's not right. Those beings, little grays abducting people, they were removed from our solar system more than 25 years ago. People in the disclosure communities have a lot of catching up to do. They've been kept in the dark about much that they sense or know. So this means that people are the way they are because of what was done to them that they were made to forget. The effect is still with us, but not the beings who did it. This is important to know because it will help you let go of fear of the present and future. This is required of us. It's not normal or natural for us to live in fear. It isn't. It just isn't. And everybody knows it. They just don't know how to fix it. That fix has to come from outside of Earth, from the greater God to this planet. It's just common sense. It really is. So you see yourself as a spherical being. And if I change the image just for now to this, then you can see that this is on the front cover of the Saber's Agenda book, or the Emerald Doorway book rather. But it's what we really look like as a soul, as an Atma. Multidimensional, little teardrops. They're all higher faculties that represent the spectrum of light that represents every plane of creation. We already have the way to do things programmed in there. It's all there. But if they're turned off or dormant 1 billion years ago, many millions of lives ago, this one went, and that one went, and this, pretty soon, we're left vulnerable to be caught by reptilians or greys on Earth and stuffed in bodies with no memory. That's where implants come from. They are not little chips under the skin. And they don't really control us, except we've been compelled to believe they do. And that's all. The Atma, what we are, has the ability, has always had the ability to master fear or negative nature, because we don't have those natures within our being. We are looking through like hologramic images of torture and death, that are in the electromagnetic field out around the Atma, through which we see the universe distorted. And it's subconscious, meaning if you look at the universe and say, what did I forget before I was born here? This program kicks in and says, we're going to eat you alive again if you remember. That kind of thing. It's the misuse of technology that was designed by humans on a planet to keep people from ever acquiring a subconscious mind. And that's all it is. And it is reversible. That's the important part. So you're a sphere hovering up into the sun, but there are a sphere on each side of you. One male, one female. That means the Atma has not a gender as in sexuality, but as a feminine quality, and others have a masculine quality. This is set up in the beginning or chosen long ago. But they're showing you a body form with this uniform on, long blonde hair to their shoulders, perfectly formed, perfectly handsome, perfectly beautiful. And you're showing them the exact same thing. It's a prototype you carry with you. When we meet outside of Earth, we show each other these prototypes. They aren't made of physical matter. They can be well dressed, look human, but they're not DNA. They're not molecules or atoms. So this confuses a lot of people because they know they have this prototype form. And if you were fully awake, you could manifest that prototype form right over your body on Earth and change it to that. But to do that, you have to be in an atmosphere that has no negative nature. You'd light up like a light bulb, and the governments would be after your ass. So think about it. You have to have the knowledge to go with it, or you're just going to stand out in ways you don't want to stand out. So this is important to understand how we have to awaken these higher faculties. The Hue expansion ray, this omnipresent living source, has within it now moving in one direction through the lower dimensions of time and space and through our solar system, a parameter to remove the old failed experiment of good and evil, because it failed. Instead of making co-creators with Source, it trapped them in the lower worlds. Who knew? Replacing it with the Hue expansion ray wisdom, a certain kind of wisdom that allows us to never be vulnerable, be caught again as we wake up who we are. That's the importance. So you're near the ceiling. Your body with the eyes closed is in the trance state we call sleep. As easy as pie. Actually, I don't know if pie is easy. How hard is it to make a pie? I guess it's kind of hard, but it's an old saying, as easy as pie, or easy as cake, or it's a piece of cake, or whatever. We're all masters at running physical bodies, putting them to sleep at night and not knowing a thing when we come back in the morning. Every one of you knows that's not natural. Ask yourself what you knew before you were born here. Now, on a normal world, you'd know all the way back to Source. Or you should. When people run bodies on other worlds and fly in spaceships, they are not trapped or bound by the craft they travel in. They're more advanced than that. They know how to leave their body in the trance state called sleep and move around the universe. Galactic Alliance personnel, as paradisical as their worlds are compared to Earth, we're not really going back above the void to Source either until fairly recently. When they go with us on these journeys, they're so advanced, when they come back with these experiences, they telepathically communicate it to the beings on 450 million world systems. And those beings can help us. And we need their help to go through an unexpected transformation here. Means that we have to go through tremendous change. And we don't want it to be diabolical riots in the streets and people die and change. Everybody can do that. That's stupid. Change that comes from the inside out, so that leaders and people on the world start to make correct decisions as they're doing now. And then a transformation can happen here. When you go on these journeys, there's a responsibility that goes with this. It goes back to the source itself. And we become boots on the ground on this planet. Because the hue expansion ray will move through you, far beyond your comprehension. And it will be good for other people, not just you. This way, the energy that's necessary to light up the oceans and charge the atmosphere of this planet and clean it can be brought here. These kind beings are simply keeping your fear of the present and future and engrams and implants and subconscious fears from many lives turned off. You can see a white golden light. It's pastel, it's transparent, coming down through your ceiling. It's passing through the sphere you are, through the physical looking form you project, and in through your body and out through the aura, the electromagnetic field that surrounds the body. It comes out the south pole of the bottom of the spine, goes in the top of the head. It's a big spherical moving energy that's constantly revolving around us. It's the aura people talk about Earth is much wider and bigger than they understand. The same field of energy around the Atma near the ceiling comes out the south pole and goes in the north. And we're out in space. You see this surrounding the planet Earth. Out the south pole, going in the north pole. And we get above the entire galaxy and look at it. It's coming out the south axis of the galaxy, going clear around all those stars and coming in the North Pole. And they're identical in what they do to the one made of the hue that circles us. It allows us as beings to float in this other ether. That space out there is a living energy. In a flash of light from this couple's hands, we find ourselves in space, standing in a circle of beings in this perfect form that you show each other. The spherical being you are is hovering above it. And there's Ambassador Turelian standing in the center of the beings. We're in a circle around him. He is Seire's Ambassador Turelian from the Seire's race, the most oldest prototype, original human type race, billions of years old. 18 feet tall. He's one of the short ones. He's showing you a body form that is a long blonde hair, slightly wavy to his shoulders. Big blue eyes, slightly bigger than Earth humans, slightly pointed ears like an elf. White gown, bare feet, fists are closed, 2 thumbs are up. There's a slightly brighter golden white light around his fists, like a halo of light. That's what he's doing. And when you look above him, there's this huge, beautiful Atma hovering there. Up above him is dear friends of mine, Etta and Din Horde Drens. They are not human. They are silica-based creatures that develop the ability to levitate and fly through the air when their tail is charged. They create an anti-gravitic energy field around their body, an organic species that evolved on a planet called Oceania. Out in space, away from Earth, in this circle between some of us, is Master Opellum. He's from Oceania. He's about 6 feet tall, has jet black hair to his shoulders, emerald green eyes, pale blue skin, perfectly handsome. Could be about 40. He's got a Galactic Alliance uniform on with that symbol as well. But the Oceanian race is much older than the Galactic Alliance. This is a being who helped start the Galactic Alliance officially 500,000 years ago. The body form he's showing us is the same age on Oceania that you're seeing here now, unaged after 500,000 years. Now, this is interesting to know because they have mastery over genetics. It's very simple. Bodies are machines, biological entities. They're not who we are at all. We've never yet ever been a body, and we've run millions, maybe billions of them. Out here in space, Around you, when you look around, it doesn't appear black anymore. It appears like a pastel, beautiful white golden light everywhere. And floating in it is the planet Earth with its polar ice caps in the distance behind us. And the moon orbiting the Earth, no atmosphere, meteor craters everywhere, does not turn on its axis at all as it orbits the Earth. Sun in the distance, a single sun, which is not what most star systems are. And then you can see the billions of stars of our galaxy all around us, floating in this other light, clearly defined. Big blue, hot, white giant stars. Great big yellow suns, 1,000,000 times bigger than ours. Smaller yellow suns, red giants, red dwarfs. Everything in creation is round. Out here, truth cannot delude you or elude you. They're round because they are made in the image of their creators. Spherical Atmas. They're round because they are made in the image of who we are. It's so easy. You begin to remember this stuff, it just comes back to you like, yeah, I used to know that. How did I get to, how come I can't remember that? Okay. So we're in space, and you hear a humming around us. It's the sound the physical universe makes in space. It's a deep rumbling humming, like soft thunder. No lightning, not frightening. It's the hue. It's the first primordial sound behind and supporting all that exists. And it manifests like this in higher frequencies of light up through the dimensions, all the way up through the astral, causal, mental, etheric, the void, which is not the realm of the Supreme Being, and then up into the first realm above that, which has no negative nature, never has. That is the Atma plane. And then above that, the sixth plane. In between the sixth and fifth is what we call the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. It is a teaching facility. And it was built in a special parallel dimension between those two levels so that several things can happen for the first time. And there are many planes above that. And we go to this realm of what's called Agam Purusha, foreign names to people on Earth, but not to people in the Galactic Alliance. And this being is just massive. And he regulates all the raw power of eternity and generates, like a generator, distributing it down through the planes. And then above that is what we call Source or Prime Creator. We are still there, every one of us, hovering in that circle of beings around the central aisle of what is called Prime Creator. We never left. The Atma is not a physical being made of matter or bodies or energy or atoms or anything like that. The white core of our being is made of exactly the same energy as the source itself, identical. So we're like small drops of co-creative talent amongst a great center or source. In space, around us, you can see every one of us in a circle here, but there are many more beings here too. Ramu, red maroon robe, short cropped curly black hair and beard, holding a crystal staff glowing with gold light with an Ankh, the eternal life symbol from ancient Egypt. Did not originate in Egypt, by the way. It's his trademark. So these beings are important because they can help you when you're out of your body at night. If you're smart enough to ask for their help, they can help you discover and awaken a great deal. So they, of free will, choose to be out here for these journeys because this thing called disclosure is finally underway for this planet. Believe me when I tell you, people on Earth are going to go through some incredible consciousness experiences because they don't remember much of anything that they should. And this needs to be fixed or corrected. Of course it does. Up above Eta and Din, about 3 feet long from the root of tip of their nose to their cute little tails. You can look in the Emerald Doorway book and see what Eta looks like. He's illustrated there. It's really cool. These just incredible friends. I've known them for 100,000 years. Him and his wife. They are master teachers, but they are not human. They teach in the Hue Expansionary Academy. Ramu is stationed on Earth. Agam-Des, you look at Shambhala, Shangri-La, any of those things. It's a city, small, in a protected environment in a Himalayan-type mountain range. But it's not located on the Earth in the Himalayas you know of. There's a doorway and cave there. It goes to the third higher parallel dimension of the physical universe. There are 144 before you even get to the astral plane. And it is a place where he hangs his hat. This guy can get around, appear on the street, walking down the street in a suit, and you wouldn't even know it. Most of the advanced extraterrestrials we're meeting with can do the same thing. It's easy for them to project not being noticed on Earth. If they have a mission to go on, they don't want to be seen or known by people. They don't want to be recognized. People on Earth are too dangerous and too fear-driven, so they're unpredictable. For now. So we get a perspective out here in space because the omnipresent white golden light surrounding us is an intelligent consciousness. And it imparts this awakening to us when we're out here. We come out in space so that we're not in the negatively impacted atmosphere of the planet. It's just saturated. Earth's oceans and water systems, H2O, is one of the secrets of creation. Two gases combine to make a liquid. Not only a source of energy, but they're a source of storing large amounts of what we call the hue around those molecules. Normal planets' oceans glow a foot above the waves when they're charged. And this keeps them calm, regulates weather, does many things. Plus, people living on such worlds don't have subconscious minds. This is important because we do, and we're not meant to. So we want to get rid of them altogether at some point. Up above, Atendin is hovering a little Chinese master named Lightsey. Little maroon robe, little esoteric symbols on it, little hat, little Fu Manchu type beard. This guy's ageless. He's a master teacher in the Hue Expansionary Academy. Comes from ancient China on Earth, originally. Before that, from other worlds. It didn't originate on Earth, any more than you did. He's known as the Faultless Guardian. He does not have bodies in the lower planes. He has an etheric body, and then he works in the Hue Expansionary Academy above the void. He works in a wisdom kind of a temple on the etheric plane. Was one of the first teachers to volunteer to work in the Hue Expansionary Academy. And we'll be visiting the pyramid structure in the academy where he works. Up above him is Satnam, standing in space, plain as day, about 6 feet tall, bronze-colored skin, bald head, ageless. Looks to be about 36, but when you look at him, he just appears ageless. Golden eyes, not yellow. 2 gold bracelets on his upper arms, bare-chested, strongly built, little white tunic dress from his waist down to his bare ankles. And above him, this much larger, beautiful Atma with lots of these teardrop-shaped layers, more colors than we have. And up above him is a doorway. They've already started to build this before we got out of space. It's an hourglass shaped. It's a white golden light turning slowly clockwise. And around it is a blue-green luminous energy like water. And this is a portal, interdimensional doorway, which is created to bypass the lower planes of time and space and connect directly to the void, where we want to go to get out of any negative energy whatsoever. Out here in space, there are master teachers, male and female, standing to each side of each of you And beside you is this male and female couple from the Galactic Alliance. They're there to escort you to keep your fears and trepidations, apprehensions, doubts, everything else turned off with your sleeping body back on Earth. It's the Atma you are, you, that needs to go out and have these adventures and bring back the awareness of them, the wisdom, because they will be transferred through your body, your sleeping body. And when you awaken, your IQ or your intelligence level to comprehend the multidimensional nature of yourself and the universe increases, expands. It's part of the process. The master teachers I speak of are not all human. Many of them are. Some are bipedal, some look like reptilian, but smooth skin. Their eyes with these cat-like pupils are not frightening. They're beautiful Atmas hovering above them. These are the good guys, not the bad ones that would eat you alive. They have been removed from our solar system, as I've clearly stated. They're not on Earth anymore. They're not in our solar system, anywhere. Pashats, they're like 9 foot tall or taller lion-like people, big manes, 2 arms, 2 legs, retractable claws. The one being race that's spacefaring, that reptilians, the bad guys, are terrified over these guys. They like humans. Their nervous system moves way faster than ours. They could wipe out 100 reptilians in, under 3 seconds if they had to battle with them. So these are good guys. These are master teachers. Many of them are human. They have a little bigger ears, maybe a little longer face, different kinds of dress. But every one of them has an Atma hovering above them, just like you do. And these are people who teach in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. They are from planets in the Galactic Alliance and from dimensions below the void. They come here, down here, to go on this journey with us. The man and woman from the Galactic Alliance have put their body into the trance state called sleep in egg-shaped cushioned, blue-cushioned chairs by round oval glass-top tables in a lounge area aboard the Emerald Star Cruiser. This is a mile-long cylindrical spaceship stationed in the ice rings that make up the rings of the planet Saturn. And it is permanently stationed here for now. So they can't take that ship even into the astral plane. They've got to go with us the same way we go. They want to go back home, co-create with Source, and bring it back to their people. They've got to do it the same way we do. Spaceships do not go where no negative nature, no matter, no energy, no DNA exists. This is pure energy. The sound humming around us out here is unmistakable. Humming in a hue way down deep. The light around Tyrellian's thumbs is humming a little higher frequency. What he's doing is creating a transparent oval sphere of light around all of us. It's made of the hue. It's coming down through a portal I described, through Satnam, through Light Z, Etan Din, right through Tyrellian, out his thumbs, and then he creates a form like the hull of a spaceship so that we can stay focused and go to places that really matter. We're going to send out the hue out here together. So don't do it out loud. Keep your body in the trance state. Do it inside silently. On the tones, as I raise the tones, do it with me. And you're going to watch this vortex high above Satnam brighten all the way up this hourglass-shaped structure. As we do the hues, and what it's doing is creating a portal to bypass the lower planes of time and space. Because we're going to use it later. And then we're going to go up to the void, and we're going to go to Satnam's land. We're going to go to the Hue Expansion Ray Academy and visits with some beings called silent mentors. The one place where people in the lower dimensions can go as Atmas and mix it up with the mechanics of creation. Those beings that maintain galaxies and planets and moons and stars and doorways between dimensions, hold it all together. They, in the past, have never had any reaction with people like us or master teachers. They're a completely separate order of beings. But in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, where there's no negative nature, we can rub shoulders with them. This is very, very important to become aware. We are required as beings to come to know all the life that exists in the grand multidimensional creation. It's the one requirement that we have. Divine love, if you really want to know what it is respect for all life. You can't do that if you don't know about life outside of Earth's atmosphere. People don't even respect life on the planet, much less anywhere else. They're too afraid of it. But we're not. So these journeys are also designed to help you recover your ability to do this. To be comprehensive, to comprehend life on other worlds and other dimensions, to respect it, to respect yourself. There's a flash of light from Tyrellian's thumbs, and we find ourselves hovering high above, in space, looking down on the entire Milky Way galaxy. You know what it looks like. You've seen astronomical images of the galaxy on YouTube or Google or whatever. Hubble Space Telescope images of it, you know. They know what it looks like. There's billions of stars in it. Hundreds of billions of world systems. And we're looking down and we can see a golden white energy field. Go Google it someday. Electromagnetic field, toroidal field, and look what it looks like. This gravitational field of force. It's really the hue. Comes out the south pole of the axis of the galaxy, goes way around it and comes in the north, and it's always moving. It's made of the energy of the surrounding space, but it allows the galaxy to turn on its axis and create a field that can float in another medium. Atmas that we are also do the same thing. When we travel as the Atma in the omnipresent first sound, the hue, there's no limitations of time and space or the speed of light or gravity or anything like that. It is that one energy that advanced races must work with if they want to go faster than the speed of light, if they want to travel the universe. They know how to do it. It is not new. It is ancient. Cures for diseases are not new. They are ancient. Turning on genomes, there's 1 billion of them on the twin-stranded DNA of people on Earth, and they're just switches. Each one operated by a precise sound frequency. If you know that science, growing an arm back, you know what? If someone loses an arm, there's a grid pattern, like a checkerboard pattern of golden light that stays there for a few days. Then it recedes into the rest. If that pattern remains out there, your body will grow a new arm. Like some lizards can grow a new tail. No different. If you have genomes shut down so you don't know how to do that, you can't do it. Out here, you begin to recognize how ancient you are. You begin to understand from this omnipresent power we're connected to that you once knew this stuff well. You were scientists in the Galactic Alliance before. Way up high, way beyond what people know on Earth, long ago. And you've been made to forget all that. That's wisdom. If you can't access that on Earth, you're in trouble. Because you got what? Nothing? No awareness of what you used to know? Surrounded by a negative atmosphere that stores every good and bad thing anybody's done to anybody. It's kept inside the atmosphere of the planet. It does not go out into the you. You can't project that there. There's no place to store that kind of stuff in that energy. It is not negative and positive. It is not made of material energy, space, and time. It is a pure energy. You can't store negative things there. And higher faculties of beings do not work in negative energy at all. Think about this for a minute. It's very important. We have no negative nature in us as a being. Never have. So that means whatever's surrounding us needs to be fixed so that we see clearly into the universe when we look into it. That's what's partially underway. in these journeys. You're looking down on this galaxy, and you can see there's a planet. There's a big bulge in the center of the galaxy with all these stars more closely packed together. And then there's an axis coming up them. It's not a black hole. They just couldn't see it with human eyes from Earth, so it looked black to them. But it's a white golden light that's moving up the axis of the galaxy that connects to other galaxies in other dimensions. It goes all the way back to source. These are concentric generators. They bring the hue from a higher reality down to the lower to support that dimension. These are doorways all over creation that are maintained by the silent mentors. They are the guardians of such things. You can see a planet out near the outer third of this big bulge, and it's called Zetranami 1. It is the central governing world of the Galactic Alliance. On the other side of the galaxy, there's a central governing world called Zetranami 1 in our physical parallel dimension that runs a little more than half the worlds in our galaxy, and they work together now. Earth is the short man out. Earth is the problem. The problem is not out in space. It's on Earth. The most dangerous and unpredictable people in the galaxy right now are not reptilians or greys. They're controlled. They're being changed. It's Earth people. We're not going to be allowed to play among the stars with races out there thinking we're going to go put our Chinese or American or Russian flag on their territory and try to mine their resources. They're never going to allow us to do that. We have to play in harmony with them. We got to grow up. It's time Earth people grew up, snapped out of it. Then we're hovering above this world, and what you see is this massive world, 4 times bigger than Earth, no polar ice caps, 3 continental land masses, domed cities covering pyramids, properly spaced, not overpopulated. There's a light around the atmosphere and in the oceans that you can see. Golden oceans out offshore of central cities near a continent near the equator, and they're glowing. There are 3 moons circling this planet at different distances that are the size of Earth with no polar ice caps. And they have life on them as well. In the distance from where we are, you can see this planetary system circles or orbits a trinary sun system. 3 suns. Big blue, hot, white, giant, young sun. Big yellow sun, a little smaller but a million times bigger than our sun. And another smaller yellow sun. The fact is, most suns in our galaxy, quite separate from the single sun we have, are either binary or trinary. 2 suns. Closest star system to Earth has 2 suns revolving around each other. Central one and one going around it. Others have 3. The most advanced worlds and how this affects not having polar ice caps and the genetics of life, it's very different. All of you came from those experiences in your past. It's not new to you, but becoming new to you now because you've been made to forget all that. And we find ourselves hovering above in the atmosphere, which is a pale blue-pink kind of light. It's glowing, and you can see a few curved white dome structure. Tall pyramids. All these things have a certain glow around them. Waterfalls and little rivers, perfectly landscaped, and out into the distance in the horizon, a glowing golden luminous ocean and a golden sandy beach. In the distance to the right, you can see an oval blue disc about a foot thick. It's flat, and there is a cylindrical spaceship landed there. It's about a mile long. Blue-gray metallic structure. It's hovering above this landing. It's got a pale blue antigravitic light around it. Little oval portals all around the outside. Very much identical to the one that's stationed in the ice rings of the planet Saturn. This is Zetranami 1. We find ourselves inside this curved dome. And we're hovering in a circle around Turelian. There's a white golden shaft of light coming down this dome. It's going up through that vortex we created. It's coming here for their benefit. And we can see 5,000 Galactic Alliance men and women in white gowns, golden sash from the right shoulder to left hip, all different kinds of races, representing 450 million world systems, standing on consecutive concentric levels of white stone with white leather-like chairs. They're standing up in front of it. Atma's hovering above them. They see us. They know we're here. So we get the privilege of meeting with the entire Galactic Alliance Council on our way to the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. We're just stopping off, doing a little side route. Turelian's still in the center of this beam. We're in a circle around him. And we're standing on a blue disc-like stage down in the center of these levels, looking up at these Galactic Alliance personnel. We're floating up at eye level with them around Turelian. You're showing them a perfect human-like form about 36. If you're a woman, flawlessly beautiful. If you're a man, perfectly handsome. They're doing the same. And then we find ourselves in space, up above this planet, this trinary sun system. And when you look up and you see this vortex above Zetranami, we're all still here. And we're moving up. Turelian's moving this oval white sphere around us up into the bottom of this opening that we all collectively helped to create with them. The sound is changing from a humming to a very high, thin, beautifully alluring note of a flute. And it's pulling us upward into this vortex. And then we find ourselves up into the middle of this vortex in the narrow shaft, looking through the transparent wall that's moving around us. The sound is more refined, the light higher. And you can see right through the walls of this vortex. The physical universe, you can see Earth, just looking down through it like a magnifying glass. You can see the astral plane, causal, mental, and etheric planes, all these galaxies, brighter, each one stacked on top of each other. And then we find ourselves all the way up the other end of this vortex, hovering around Turelian in a brilliant, pale blue, luminous, cobalt blue light. And this is the void. This is above the etheric plane. The sound here is like millions of men and women's voices singing the hue and harmony. It can't be described in human terms other than that. It's beautiful. This oval golden light around us is moving us upward, higher, faster, right through this infinite-looking vast space. The vortex behind us, below us, disappears. And we're approaching what looks to be, as we're fast approaching, starts out as a white point of light. And as we approach it, it becomes a luminous sandy beach. Little diamond spherical crystals, luminous. It extends as far as we can see, the left and right, and then curves in on itself, implying that whatever it is we're approaching is a round or circular landmass. Now we're hovering above this sand. The trees in the background are every kind of tree you can think of, luminous with transparent trunks, energies moving up and down them. There are birds hovering above these trees which greet us when we come here. Very advanced, masterful beings, about a foot long. Long V-shaped split tails. Rainbow-colored feathers, millions of colors blended perfectly. Big bulbous blue eyes. Kind of look like a blue jay. Twin sets of wings hovering above them like a hummingbird. Male and female, hovering up out of the trees. And then they surround us and they begin to sing the hue. And as that hue passes through us, remember there's a big Atma hovering above each one of them. You realize you're imparted the wisdom to know that these beings, for Zetranami, are actually maintaining the void by singing it and holding it in place. This is very advanced stuff. Zetranami has a handful of this sandy, and you can see his hand magnified. He's holding it up. And there are little round, polished, diamond-like crystals glowing. Throws them in the air. It's a gift. One of these little crystals moves into the white core of your being above the physical form you're showing each other, and then it brightens it. And we find ourselves moving over the top of the jungle. These birds disappear back in the trees. And we can see in the distance a long, snow-covered blue stone mountain range. At its base, a crystalline-type palatial estates, transparent energy, big, tall, blue, golden, lapis lazuli-type pillars holding up a pyramid, four-sided type top or roof, and a chair in the middle of it, made of quartz, rounded edges, transparent, glowing. It's like a throne chair, but I've never seen Zetranami sit in it. He's hovering with us, heading in that direction. Turelian's still keeping us all focused. And we pass under this, up these long, foot-thick, glowing golden stone steps, through these pillars, around this throne chair. In the back, there's a triangular opening. In the back of that is a huge fountain, scalloped edges, blue kind of stone with white frills around the edges. It has a Christmas tree-like blue-green light with a gold light around it, moving up and down from higher realities, filling this mountain. There's a stone floor around it. It's at the back of the base of the mountain range. So Turelian is taking us up inside this shaft of light that is this fountain. We're right in the center of it. And we move up above this fountain and look out over what is the Atma plane. This is a plane which has animals and beings of every order, extraterrestrial, human, non-human, everything you can think of, mammals, fish, all conscious, over vast terrains of countryside. They all have vocal cords. They're all made of pure energy. They all are Atmas hovering above the forms. So we're going to go visit, briefly, we're going to go visit a field of violet grass about a foot tall. Huge, thousands of acres. And there are beings that look like small giraffes walking around in this, with blue skin, golden spots, big violet eyes. Otherwise, they look like a smaller giraffe. There's an Atma hovering above them. So we go, each one of us, up to one of these couples in their mated pairs. And they talk to us telepathically. And they talk to us with vocal cords. And then we begin to realize how advanced these beings are because the Atma's hovering above them. So you go up and hug one, just hug one. In the Atma plane, we can experience how to respect all life because every life is represented here. This is what you want to do. To bring it back to Earth, you got to have the experience. No negative nature here. Then we find ourselves moving up that shaft that we created all the way back down by Earth. We're going a short distance. It's taken the form of a donut-shaped circle of lights, little blue stars whirling around it. On the other side is a brilliant cobalt blue atmosphere. And way in the distance, you can see a massive circular floating landmass. So Turelian is taking us all the way up through that opening. The opening closes below us, and we are in a more brilliant cobalt blue luminous light everywhere. There's no suns, no moons, no stars. They're not needed. We all radiate a light. Everything here radiates its own light. There's no night and day. Planets aren't needed. Things you find here are held in place by beings. We're moving in the distance toward an even brighter diamond-like sandy beach that circles the entire circumference of this massive land. Around it in the distance is this cobalt blue light takes the form of an ocean. But it's not water. There's a blue-green wave curling on the beach. You can see it continuously, slowly crashing around the outer circumference, comes back to where it started and keeps going. This is how this place is held in place. The cobalt blue light is backed by a white golden light. and it allows things to float in it, just like a galaxy floats in space. The sound that's drawing us onward now is like beautiful voices in perfect harmony, singing these hue tones. And we're moving over the top of this sandy beach, headed towards the center where there are 6 snow-covered, bluestone-covered, snow-covered mountains in a circle. Down in between the base of the circle of 6 mountains is a white island, circular. There's a blue-green donut-shaped lake, luminous around it. And coming out of the exterior circumference of this stone or white sand beach or island is a blue transparent glass-like tower. Comes up to an oval sphere and up to a minaret point. That is the Hue Expansion Ray Academy Tower. There's a fountain in the center of that oval area. There's no statue of Zetranami in it. And a white golden light's coming down into it. And then going through the fountain, coming down the shaft of this tower, goes through the bottom of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, into Zetranami's realm, into the void, and all the way back down to Earth. We're going to now be suddenly transported to look down on the Hue Expansion Ray Academy from above it. You can see a number of these towers in the distance in the countryside, all doorways, interdimensional portals. And then in the distance you can see north, south, east, and west. The base of these mountains are oval tunnels with glowing golden walls, and out of each one comes a white stone roadway, straight as an arrow, circling all the way through the countryside, completely surrounding this landmass. And when you look down each roadway, to the left and the right, every so often is a clearing. Different building, different training center. Out in the distance, surrounding this floating landmass, are domes, clear, covering 3 golden-sided pyramids. In the middle, and between them, is a type of a fountain. And there's a blue-green, luminous golden light coming down into them. They are like offshore, 12 of them. Those are silent mentor training facilities. We can visit them another time. If you look at the domes out there offshore, you can see a couple hovering above them. Those are silent mentors. They have pale gowns on, pastel colors, different colors, blue, green, whatever they are. Long hair to their shoulders, different colored hair, different colored skins. The faces have no facial features. It's a perfect form they're showing us. But it's a bright light. Above them is hovering a Atma 4 times bigger than we are. 4 times wider in diameter, twice as many teardrop-shaped layers. These are the mechanics of creation. You should know them, because you're going to have to associate with them sooner or later anyway. So we're going to go out to the northern roadway. The whole group of us is moving through this blue atmosphere. And we're going to come down and land on the white diamond-like beach at the end of that roadway. And when you put your feet, you're going to see your feet wiggle in the sand. And when you do, you're going to just know to pick up in your hand, which is not a physical body, you're going to see a handful of these brilliant spherical little diamond crystals. All you're going to do is take one, drop the rest, and throw it up in the air. It's going to go right into the white core of your being, because you will draw it into you. And then it starts to make the layers around the Atma a little brighter. As a gift. And then we're moving out over this ocean. There's a dome in front of us, almost the entire circumference of the land it sits on. And we go right inside this clear, transparent dome and find ourselves with our feet standing in foot-deep, glowing golden white light. It surrounds a fountain. The blue stone type thing, scalloped edges. There's a luminous fountain-like light, like a Christmas tree, moving up and down in this fountain, in between these pyramids with quartz caps. The male and female are hovering to each side of this beam. And then you see a beam come into the Atma they are, down in through their being, through the form they're showing you, and it's charging that fountain through them and a central shaft as well. We find ourselves standing in foot deep in this energy. This energy has to do with helping you remember your real life as it has always been above the void. All the things you've done there in billions of what you would call years before you ever played with bodies in the lower planes of time and space. Then you find this couple come down and stand in the water with you, one on each side of the fountain. And they are talking with us. These are silent mentors. They're way more involved than what you would call a master teacher. They're simply asking you to look into their face. And when you do that, you see galaxies upon galaxies upon planes, all the way down, including Earth. This is how they think. This is how they comprehend the multidimensional universe. They can move anywhere, at any place, in an instant, in any dimension, in any reality, appear in any form to carry out a mission you wouldn't even know they are there. But here, we come to know of their existence. And they are moving an energy from the fountain through us. And it's coming from a higher reality, source itself. So it's moving it through us. And in this way, by direct experience, we get to experience a little bit of what it's like to be a silent mentor. And on the other side of us, around the outside of this fountain, are standing over 100 master teachers. Ambassador Trillians hovering in the top channel of light coming down on the fountain. The master teachers are outside of us, and we get to experience an energy of the hue coming through them, this more caring nature for individual evolution to help train students. And then you have these silent mentors, and the energies are moving between us. So we get to become kind of like prototypes. We get to experience what it's like to be a blend of a master teacher and a silent mentor. This has never happened before in the history of creation. This is new. Altogether. And we're back up going into that funnel of light way above the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. We're being transported up it all the way to the other end, which goes many dimensions above the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. And we come out into a world of Agam Purusha. Now, this is a realm of fire and orange and red and green and purple, just moving around everywhere. And there's a massive, brilliant, white, multicolored being coming up to us. And it's us hovering around Trillian, and he's talking with us. This is Agam Purusha. It would behoove you greatly to ask him if you can be friends with him, because this guy regulates the raw power of eternity. They never sleep. They never get tired. In the background, coming out of this fiery energy that he regulates, is a tree. A massive fir-like tree with silver golden needles. The trunk of the tree is running white golden light through it. It's transparent. The roots are massive. They go down and disappear into the roots of this fire energy, and the top you can't even see. So he's giving us permission to go inside the trunk of that tree. As you pass the needles on each branch, you notice passing by that each one shows you a world or a planet, galaxy or place somewhere in the lower dimensions of time and space. And it shows you the various planes. From the Atma plane, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th year, all the way up the ocean of sound and light or the hue expansion ray itself. You're into source or prime creator. So we go into the trunk of the tree and suddenly dart upward. When we come out the other end of that channel, the tree of life, we find ourselves heading towards a vastly more brilliant cobalt blue atmosphere. And there's one thing in the center of it, a huge silver golden galaxy circling around a white nucleus, like a galaxy, but there's a white island in the center and a void around it, and there's a huge presence hovering above it. It looks like an Atma, but thousands of layers, millions of colors. And in between and around it are these beings you first would think of as stars, but they're individual Atmas hovering around this center. And as we move through the vast space between them, we're headed towards that island. The sound here is beyond human description. It is beyond the most beautiful orchestra. Chimes and brass chimes and bells and beautiful voices singing to you. These beings dance in maintaining this creation. And then you realize you're out there somewhere still circling this center. You never left. Everything else is a mock-up. Everything is a projection from the Atma. Bodies, planets, all that stuff. They're real when you're in them. But up here is the source of reality. And we're moving, drawn right into the white island. And then into the white core of this massive being we would call the Ancient One, Prime Creator, Source. It does not call itself a Supreme Being. That's like a tyrant king or something. No, forget that. It is not an individual. It is a nexus of all Atmas that exist in all of the multidimensional universe that focus in one place. It can talk with you. It has a presence. And so it tells each one of you with this deep baritone voice and a kind of a angelic, crystalline, feminine quality. It's hard to describe. Welcome home. The next instant, there's a flash of light. And we find ourselves coming out of another silver golden tree, trunk of a tree, and stepping onto the floor a foot thick of golden quartz in the base of a huge pyramid. Golden walls. And this is the tree of life in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy that connects to the one in Agam Purusha's realm. To go to Source, we have to get permission to bypass his realm to go there. So we come out this other one, and there's this little Chinese master, Light C, standing there on the floor to greet us. Very humble. And he tells you that the little needles on the tree of this life, on this tree, represent locations in all of the places in the lower dimensions of time and space. He is the faultless guardian or teacher of this facility in the Hue Expansion Ray, one of thousands. Zetranami has his own teaching facility just out the eastern roadway in a right turn in a clearing. And we find ourselves in a circle of beings out hovering over this cobalt, beautiful, luminous blue light that surrounds the Hue Expansion Ray Academy with Turelian. And there's a doorway, a portal that opens up, whirling clockwise below us, made of this ocean-like liquid. And we move down it, instantly dart all the way back down to hover around Turelian, near the planet Earth where we started this journey. The energy coming back with us through the vortex above us is a white golden light. It's a pure you from above the void. And it's coming down through us, and we find ourselves hovering above our bodies on Earth. Near the ceiling, this man and woman, this couple from the Galactic Alliance, is still there, smiling, and then they vanish. The white golden light, pastel, transparent, is coming through us, through the Atma, hovering above the body you have that's in the sleep state, or trance state called sleep, passes through the electromagnetic field of you that surrounds you, clearing some things out of the way. And then it goes through us for our benefit, and then onward to others for the benefit of others. It passes into 3 pyramids located on the bottom of Earth, 2 deepest oceans in the Atlantic and Pacific. There's a statue of Zetranami in the center of each one, which is a doorway. And it comes on down into the crystal itself and is passed out into Earth world. And this has to do with disclosure. Earth people need this benefit from life beyond Earth to survive. So as this moves through you, it's also moving onward for the benefit of others. And this is part of disclosure, which has begun in the United States. It goes into another pyramid in a hollowed out interior of a mountain in the Himalayas. And then it's projected to one that classified people know is hovering between 2 stable asteroids in the asteroid field that circles in the orbit of what was a planet between Mars and Jupiter right now. That energy is then beamed all the way back to the center of the Milky Way galaxy, up that polar shaft, right back to source where we just came from, and it never stops moving. So from these journeys, you start to become boots on the ground. It starts to work through you for your benefit in new ways, and it also moves through us for the benefit of others. So we're back, and you can open your eyes. Takes some discipline to stay on these journeys when you've grown up on Earth, because everything works against you. Distraction this, distraction that. Some people just don't get it yet. They will. So I'm going to stop this recording.